if they choose not to go to preschool, what are some things that parents can do at home to help?
Okay, Miss Pino.
Okay.
What are some things that you wish as a kindergarten teacher that you can tell your parents, but you can't really tell them behind closed doors?
I wish I really had that.
Every big discovery starts with a closer look. This is Magnify Childcare, presented by Academic Explorers. Guided by our promise to put the child first, we're zooming in on what makes these early years so important. Sharing the stories that shape us, focusing on what matters most. Let's start exploring.
Welcome to Magnify Childcare, a podcast for parents and providers. We are your hosts, Rochelle and Danielle.
Hi.
And today we have a special guest who happens to be very special to me because she was my son's teacher, Mrs. Pino from Roosevelt Children's Academy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you.
Yes, we definitely are. I'm glad that Rochelle was able to connect us because, like I said before we started, we've been looking for a kindergarten teacher to connect with to see if we can build a relationship, bring our pre-K kids over to a kindergarten class. I hope that's something we can do in the future. And there's really important information that I would love for our families to have to make sure that they feel comfortable and confident going into the elementary school system as well. So thank you for being here.
All right, so before we get started, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in education, and give us a little rundown.
So I have been in education for about 12 years. 10 of those years, this year is my 10th year in kindergarten itself. Wow. So as much as I love education in all grades, there's a special spot for kindergarten. There's just something about watching them in September as little kids. They're still babies in September, and then watching them walk across that stage at graduation, and they're readers, and they're spelling, and they're doing their numbers, where it was so far away from them in September. So it's nice to see that growth, and I don't think a lot of other grades you can see that growth in. Yeah. So that's really why I love being in kindergarten. But other than that, kindergarten has taken over my life. I sing all the songs all day long. My husband wants to kill me. But yeah, I do take my classroom home sometimes. But yes, it's been a wonderful 10 years.
Nice.
I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in kindergarten only for the past 10 years since
correct.
You started.
Mm-hmm.
Were you so from college you just went straight into kindergarten and stayed there, or were you ever in any other grade?
I did a few years in a special ed program that was K through 2, but I also looped with my 1-year kindergartners to first grade, so I was able to work with them on their first grade curriculum, but it was my students from kindergarten, so that was nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Can you tell us what you think parents can do at home to make the transition to kindergarten any easier?
Definitely working on independence. That's a big thing because not only are they going to be walking into a brand new school, a brand new building, something bigger than what they're used to, but also they're going to be expected to learn how to sit by themselves, take their folders out of the backpack by themselves. And what we noticed the first few weeks of school is the children struggle with that independent factor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So from your experience in the 10 years that you've been a kindergarten teacher, what difference have you seen from kids who come from like a structure like a daycare or preschool setting from kids who may not have attended any type of school or early childhood education?
Language is a big one, communicating with other peers, learning how to interact with other children. Mm-hmm. It's very big because what we see, especially post-COVID, is that children don't interact with other children, let's say at the park, as much as they used to, at the Chuck E. Cheese or wherever. So when they're in a classroom setting now, we're noticing a big difference with children not understanding how to interact with one another. Mm-hmm. So that's a big one. And also just the basics of just identifying the difference between a letter and a number, a letter and a word. So we do see that difference from a structured setting and something like Academic Explorers.
So for families that choose not to go to Academic Explorers or any other early childhood setting, if they choose not to go to preschool, what are some things that parents can do at home to help get them ready for kindergarten?
Definitely talk to your child. Elicit responses from them. Ask them these higher order questions. Like, why is this person in this book crying? How do you know that? Have conversations with your child and not just yes and no answers. You want them to really describe what they're feeling, describe what they're seeing. Definitely introduce them to the alphabet, introduce them to letters and numbers, sing songs with them, get them into the routine of doing things by themselves. For example, like opening up a snack. Teach them how to do that.
Yeah.
Guide them through that instead of just doing it for them.
Okay, Miss Pino.
Okay.
Here at Magnify Childcare, we have to keep it real honest. So what are some things that you wish as a kindergarten teacher that you can tell your parents, but you can't really tell them behind closed doors?
How much time do we have? I'm going to go back to the independence. Yes, this is your child. This is your baby. It might be your firstborn, but you are holding them back from exploring the world when you're doing things for them. Mm-hmm. And we see that in the classroom. We can tell the difference between a parent that really guides their child to learning and a parent that is just doing things for their child. And that hinders their education too, because they're expecting us to do it. Yeah. Or my job is to get them to explore and learn by themselves. So
mm-hmm. That is very true, because I realize, like, at home with my kids, if I don't lay out, in the beginning I used to lay out their clothes and take out their socks and take out their undergarments. And I realized that when I don't do it, they become dependent on me to do it. And I was like, wait, well, mommy didn't take it out, so maybe I don't need to put socks on. So I had to teach them, like, no, when you get up in the morning, like, this is how you have to do it. You have to find your own stuff and put it out. And it does help them with, like, their routine and their structure throughout the day.
It's also a confidence thing, too. Yeah, it's like, I know I can do this. I did it before. I can do it again. And if there's a mistake, there's a mistake. And that's where the adult is there to help them get through that. But yeah, independence, confidence, that's a really, really big thing for us. Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't on our list of questions, but I'm wondering how you feel about, like, screen time and iPads and young children with them.
I think it's inevitable. I think, like, we have to use those tools to help shape the students. But I will say, I notice when it's time to do screen time in our classroom, academic screen time, my students aren't as excited as you would think they are. Yeah. They do prefer the hands-on, multi-sensory approach to learning. Yeah. So in terms of kindergarten, I'm not too concerned because I see it, but everything needs a limit, right? So like at home, maybe a half hour after homework, that's okay, but just throwing an iPad in front of a child, it's just, you can see the difference in those students. Mm-hmm.
I was just, a couple months ago, you were telling me about your daughter's, like, state test and how they're on computers. And I'm just like, times have completely changed.
No more circling, color in the circle.
What grade is she in?
3rd.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine being in 3rd grade taking tests on computers.
Mm-hmm. It's tiring, too. And then also, like, when you need, like, a resource, like a ruler or something, like, what are you doing? Putting it into the computer? I don't know. This is why I don't teach those grades.
You know what's so funny? This is off topic, but a couple months ago, I finished my the New York State certified teacher exams for myself, and one of the exams was math. And for the first 30 minutes of the math test, I didn't know that there was it was on the computer. So for the first 30 minutes of the math test, I didn't know that there was a calculator available on the computer. Like it wasn't like a desktop computer. It was like the test software, and built into the testing software there was a calculator button. So I'm over here like trying to do math by hand. I passed, thank God, but I almost failed because I just wasn't aware that like I was waiting and hoping that they were going to give me a calculator, and when she said she wasn't, I was confused.
I was taking over the other day. Yeah. My daughter needed help with a math question, and I was struggling. I couldn't figure it out. So it's me like, let me go on ChatGPT. Yeah. I caught Drea the other day going on ChatGPT to help her with her homework. I said, what is going on nowadays?
Your 3rd grade.
My 3rd grade child. Yeah. I couldn't even get mad at her because I did it. But
it's a resource.
It is a resource. Yeah, that's how we have to look at it. Mm-hmm. So, Mrs. Pino, I have a question. I'm wondering if you have ever seen this list. It is sheet about what kindergartners need to know to succeed. Has this come up in any of throughout your career at all?
Not this exact one, but the points that are here, yes.
Okay, I'm going to just read this because I don't want to get it wrong. But apparently in 2015, the Long Island Pre-K Initiative surveyed more than 100 kindergarten teachers to find out what skills they wanted children to have on the first day of school. So this list includes the top 20 items generated from that survey. And the Long Island Pre-K Initiative are I believe, encompassed by the different organizations that are on the bottom of this page. So what do you think about some of the things on this list?
Reading this quickly, I agree with everything so far that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Definitely, can hold a pencil using the correct grip. We see that a lot, and even in children past kindergarten, that they're not able and they don't have the strength to do the pincher grasp. Mm-hmm. So even as infants, when you're teaching them to just grab a Cheerio, practice that pincher grasp. So it doesn't even have to start at the preschool age or the kindergarten age. We can start this way earlier. Also, hand-eye coordination, skipping, running properly. A lot of students are on their tiptoes, and it's hurting their formation and gross motor skills. So, I agree with everything on this list. Actually, using the bathroom by themselves. I know that most kindergarten programs will not allow children to attend the school unless they are potty trained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even something as simple as taking their coat off and hanging them up and put their coats on. Things like this, even in childcare settings, sometimes we have to remember to just let them. It's okay to take time to do it. Yeah. We don't need to rush to get out the door. But I can imagine as parents, if you have multiple kids and you're just trying to
let's go. Come, I'll do it for you.
Exactly. But that's important.
When I have 25 kindergartners, I can't sit there all day zippering each one of them up. So it does help. Same thing with shoe tying. We do, help them throughout the school year. But it is a good skill to practice at home.
Yeah. I think there should be a lesson on how to tie your shoelaces. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, my mom had a handwriting class. So she used to make us, that's back in Trinidad, but she used to make my brother and I write in a handwriting book when we get home. There needs to be a class for shoe tying.
Yeah.
There really needs
to be. There's great resources on YouTube. You can play, it's a 10-minute video and just do it every once a week or something. Practice with the shoes. We have that on our Fun Fridays. I have Melissa and Doug has great resources like that.
Yeah.
So we have the shoes from Melissa and Doug and they practice at playtime. But unfortunately, kindergarten is academic time. So we don't have a lot of time to teach shoe tying because we're so into academics.
Yes. So, yeah. And I was going to say the same thing, that there's I remember seeing toys, like you mentioned, Melissa and Doug. I've seen toys over the years, from Lakeshore, other places that it's a toy, but it's a shoe, or it's this felt board with the zippers and buttons. Yeah.
It's important.
Now, you mentioned COVID earlier. What differences do you see in children now, your students now, versus 6 years ago, which is crazy that COVID was over 6 years ago. But, pre-COVID and now, what are your differences that you notice in kids?
Emotionally, I see a difference. I see socially a difference in the students and how they interact. Whereas pre-COVID, I don't know, they were just willing to play with each other in a group. Now I see the children are more to themselves. Whereas before, having 5 kids at a table, it would have been a ruckus and they would be having fun. Now you just see, when you look at a table of 5 kids, there's always 2 or 3 that are off to the side, maybe 2 are chatting. But I do see a social difference between them. And then academically too, I will say, and I think New York State is doing an initiative to change everything to the science of reading, because they saw the statistics of students post-COVID, their reading levels. So we're going back to the way we learned how to read, where it's science-based, and students should be asking questions as to, why does this letter say this sound? Or why does this group of letters say this sound? So it's a little bit more work on the teacher side, but I think the long-term effects are better.
Okay.
So in the beginning, earlier, I mentioned that my son was in your classroom. Do you have any other kids from Academic Explorers in your class?
Oh, I have plenty. And if I don't, I know them from the after-school program that my school runs too. So yes, Academic Explorers is very affluent in the RCA community.
Well, what are our students like once they get up to kindergarten level?
You can tell the difference. They seem prepared for school. They understand classroom rules because they're in a setting like that prior to coming to kindergarten. In terms of academics, they are ready with the knowledge of their letters and their some sounds too, some sight words even. So there is a difference between the students that we see coming from academic explorers compared to nothing.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's great.
And they're really good kids too. They're just really good kids.
Is there anything at all that we maybe haven't asked or brought up that you feel is very important for parents or early childhood educators to know that are working with or trying their best, to get their little ones ready for school? Is there anything else that you think is important to
I
share?
think there's a misconception about preschool age students and kindergarten age students, where some parents think, oh, they're just babies, like they're just going to school and it's fun to see them learn. Like, it's very important. Like, these are very important years that we're shaping them, and it's going to be harder for them to learn to read and continue to learn if they're not getting these basic skills now in preschool and kindergarten. So whereas years ago they thought of preschool and kindergarten as this just daycare program, it's not. It's not. Our students are actively engaged academically on a daily basis. They're taking assessments like they are in third grade.
Yes.
So it is very important to have that upper hand when it comes to starting kindergarten.
Yeah.
Very important.
All right.
Well,
I was just going to say, Miss Rochelle, I think you should give the AEA Plus today. I don't think you've done it before, have you?
I'm going to fast as I know.
So I'll explain, while you think about who you're going to give it to, I'll
Talk slow
explain so that you're not left out.
Okay.
We do something every episode called AEA Plus, where we give a shout out or a spotlight to somebody within our organization, either a person, a teacher, a director, a parent. It could be a parent, a child, a group of people, we do have committees, just anybody within Academic Explorers. And each episode we like to give someone a little shout out. So without further ado,
I can give you I have a student that's
okay,
twins, so.
Okay, so maybe we should let Miss Pino.
I think Miss Pino should get the AEA Plus shout out.
Yeah, those girls are great, and they come for the E, so. And she just so happens to be in my class, but.
Yeah, that's nice.
Aww.
That's a good one.
Well, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited for having you. It was amazing.
I'm
It was
so
a
excited
pleasure.
to see this.
Yeah, thank you so
Share
much.
it with everyone.
Yes, please do. Take a button.
I will.
We're going to magnify childcare this year.
I'm taking this that way.
Yes, please.
I'll share this with we have parent-teacher conferences coming up, and the incoming kindergartners, the screening that we have. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll send you the link. And to everybody else, I forgot to say the TikTok, Instagram. Oh. Thank you so much for watching. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Magnify Childcare. And thank you again to Mrs. Pino for being here.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
On the next episode,
Miss Magdy was actually my son's Tonga teacher.
Yes.
I did not remember that.
Yes.
When I started working in the academic explorers, support them, hear them. If they help them, if they don't understand, be there for them. We all started like that.